All right, everybody, episode 165 coming at you. Eric here in Overland Park, Ped and Old Swan, and it's another loss. Um, Unfortunately, they're starting to pile up for us here at the business end of the season. Champions League is done. Fifth place is sorted. We are fifth. There's nothing that needs to be um, decided moving forward for us. Our fate is sealed. But who cares? We talked to Roberto.
Well,
We'll talk
I
about.
talked to Roberto.
Oh yeah, we goose.
It's
We Mav.
the royal
We
we.
we Mav. Yeah. Anyways, I don't ever get to talk to Roberto. Roberto doesn't like me. I'm
That's
sad.
because you
Sad,
live.
sad whole music
Maybe if you didn't live in a really,
far away place.
stupid country where they use a raffle to pick the players for the football teams or whatever that thing is, draft, raffle, whatever.
It's
A big
not
meat
really
raffle.
a meat raffle.
It's like a big meat raffle, isn't it?
Maybe so.
It's like meat with dicky bows, basically.
Okay. You say so.
I know so.
But it's more democratic. No, socialistic this way. I don't. Yeah, our sports are
It's just
communistic,
It's
and
just
your sports
communist.
are.
Basically, you've just got communistic sports. You live in the most um, capitalist country in the world, and your sports are all communist. There you go, Eric. I don't know what to say about that, but
I don't either. I do know that Ross Barkley is awesome.
he's all right. Does the job. Beto likes him anyway.
Yeah, right. So that's really all that matters. Is there any reason to talk a lot about the Man City match? Leading up to it, though, what was the atmosphere at Goodison? What was it like?
Um, Carnival. It was. It was an absolute carnival. It was like a testimonial. Let's just say that.
That's like you sent that out, and I was like, yeah, I could see that. I think last week I was kind of upset and being removed from Merseyside, upset about the possibility of not really wanting to root for a victory because of the ramifications of City dropping points. And Berkeley scores, and everybody goes crazy. Everybody's screaming, limbs everywhere. But then City equalizes, and it's like, meh. There's not the typical the FFS like shower on Twitter, the oh F off this and screw off and darn you Everton and other choice and more colorful words. Um, it was very much we conceded. Eh. Oh, we conceded again. Eh. We're losing 2-1. Oh, Zeko got a brace. 3-1.
Well, like as I said to you last week, Eric,
But I wasn't sad, and it felt really, really weird. It felt like poserific, like
yeah, but I mean, what was there to? We said this last week. I mean, what was there to be really sad about? We said last week that if West Ham were to beat Tottenham, we wouldn't have to worry about Europe, and the pressure was taken off us.
yeah. For some
And then
reason,
Manchester United get beat.
lost too.
Yeah, so
Right.
Manchester United get beat as well, and suddenly there's absolutely no pressure on us at all. And you're thinking, well, go out and play, and we'll see what happens. And
The only thing that would have made me a little bit more settled was if Arsenal played before us or was playing at the same time and they were winning, which would have put Champions League out of grasp regardless of what we did. I think if that was the case, then then I would have been able to be less conflicted about not being sad that Everton was losing.
I don't think anyone of us thought that.
Oh, I did.
I don't think anyone of us thought that Arsenal were going to drop the points
Oh,
needed.
right. Yeah. I mean, they only needed 1 point from their last two matches. So
And at the end of the day, we were playing a really good City team who were chasing for the Premier League,
right.
and we were down on numbers. We played three at the back. We it it was just one of them games that, okay, if there was a serious chance of getting Champions League, then maybe a couple of more players would have played that maybe didn't play, or the formation would have been as it normally was. Who knows? But at the end of the day, there was nothing on it for us to win except the fact that we were playing against a team that were going against our rivals. So the spotlight was suddenly shone on us. Now, if it was another team going for the league, Arsenal, Chelsea, no one would have cared less about us. Even it doesn't matter if we'd been in the same position. Champions League just wouldn't really have just wouldn't really be on the agenda. So I don't see what the problem is. I thought we went out there, we conducted ourselves very professionally, as you mentioned there. Great goal by Ross Barkley. Okay, we go behind. Yeah, Tim Howard. um,
Yeah, getting beat near post. Um, wow. I mean, it was a good finish, but wow. Okay, next.
and the header, Eric. The header was worse.
Yeah,
The header was
yeah,
worse. But
yeah,
we're behind. Okay, we go 3-1 behind, which effectively killed the game. And then, but from then on, we really took it to City. We scored a good goal, a good save, stops Naismith from scoring, and we played well. And
yeah.
City tried to throw a blanket over the game and tried to snuff it out. And it just, we were still in the game till late on, and Deulofeu had a good chance. And so anyone who says that we weren't trying or the fans weren't getting behind them, it's an absolute joke. And you know what? There were people in the crowd that did want Man City to win, and again, you can fully understand why that is. There was nothing riding on the game, and I know everyone
Right.
says they don't want Everton, never want to see Everton lose. Well, it wasn't, it wasn't the case of wanting to Everton to lose. You just think there's absolutely nothing on the game, and if that's how someone feels, that's fair enough.
Right.
No one walked away from that ground, sort of, oh, what could have been, or oh, if we'd won that we would have got a point behind Arsenal. No one was thinking about
Right.
that at all. No
No,
chance.
because of the Palace match weeks earlier,
Mm.
pretty much put all that to bed. Um, yeah, I mean, it's just weird. I don't know. It was a weird feeling to, like I said, to not be sad that Everton lost. Usually after an Everton loss, then like the day is just kind of a little different.
Mm.
But it wasn't the case, and so the fact that it wasn't made me feel weird, I guess. But I don't know.
I never felt weird about it really. It's weird that we've lost 3 games in the last 4. That's weird.
Yeah,
I find that quite weird that we've lost 3 games in the last 4. That suddenly creeped up on us. And as you've just mentioned there, the Palace game was the main one. And if anyone was looking for sort of a game where there was no atmosphere, certainly from the crowd and the players weren't up to it, the Palace game is that game. That's where it was lost that
yep,
night. That's where the advantage was given back to Arsenal. So, that was the night. There's nothing we can do about that now. It was just a little bit too far for us. But, as you're saying there about, about losing a game and not feeling too bad about it, I get that. But at the same time, if there is seriously nothing on a game and you've been beaten by a team that, have been fined £50 million for financial irregularities. And you imagine what £50 million would do for Everton, and you think, well, we're in. What can you do? What can you honestly do? That's football now, and yeah, if it had been a game where there's some importance, then you'd be kicking yourself, blaming all the players on the pitch. But you can't really do that for Saturday. I mean, it's just one of them things. Just one of them things. And on the think about what the upside is of it. Nice peace and quiet for the world will keep turning. Hopefully for
You
Everton.
don't have to sublet a room from Dennis Rodman.
No, no, no. Hopefully, touch wood.
Right.
But I just think that in the grand scheme of things, what can you say? I mean, obviously, you don't want to get beat, but such is life.
In the grand scheme of things, Lukaku's header for our second um, framed the Falconians flag very nicely at the park end.
There
It
you
looked
go.
it looked really good in photos and videos from behind where he was coming from to head the ball in, and our flag was there, and thanks Phil, and everything looked really good, and we tried.
There's nothing else you want from life, is there? To see a flag. Commercialism again, Eric, with you, isn't it? It always comes back to commercialism.
It is.
Um, no, I don't know.
Well done.
I don't think there's much we can say about this game except for we lost in a happy fashion. That's all I can say. But there is a
Yeah,
guy who sits on. There's a guy who
yeah.
sits in front of me, the guard seat, and he was like literally cursing every time Everton went near to score. He was just like he was gonna like rip the seat up because he was just like, "What are they doing to us? Don't they understand what this is gonna mean? Don't they understand what this is gonna mean to us? There's nothing on this game. There's nothing to gain by winning. So
Tim Howard ridding Merseyside of football slags, one goal at a time.
yes, since 2014.
Anything else? Should we
No, I don't.
should
I
we
don't
move on?
care. We're at the stage of the season now where who
Where
cares?
no one listens and no one
We've
watches.
done our job. We've done our job on the pitch and off the pitch.
All I
I
can
believe.
say is thank goodness for Roberto Martinez sitting down with the various members of fan sites, fan
Hmm.
media,
Hmm.
so that people pay attention to us.
Yes. At this
because
at this
because
stage.
I'm seriously thinking we would have probably had about 5 hits on our website if it wasn't for you getting to meet the manager again.
I met the manager twice today. Believe it or not,
Yeah,
Thursday. That I met the manager twice on two different occasions. I think he thinks I'm stalking him.
yeah,
So I've had a bit of a strange week. I've played at Goodison this week. I've been on the Hallow Turf for the seventh time.
yeah.
Counting people, seven.
I,
Um,
I touched
done a
it
couple.
once.
What about the pitch?
Yeah,
Um, yeah. So yeah, and then I've had a couple of other, and then got, got to interview Roberto and seen him as well up the Radio City Tower as well. So it's not been a terrible week, but yeah, got to speak to him again. Obviously we're not gonna well, we're going to have a little chat about it, but when the podcast is there, it's an hour and 10 minutes long, available on SoundCloud, Stitcher, and on iTunes podcast. So
yep.
go and get it. You will not regret it. There's a slight issue with the sound, and basically what it was that it rained so hard that the rain nearly drowns out the sound of the people in the room because the rain was coming down so heavy on the roof that it was just honestly it was like Noah outside. So if anyone's sitting there going, "This is a little bit, weird," it is just rain. Nothing I can do about it. Can't control the weather. So
No, you can't. I mean, I've listened to it, and I don't think it was. terribly distracting. I've definitely listened to stuff that we've put out in the past that was a lot worse than this. Um, so I don't think there's anything wrong with the background noise. Maybe the
What are
squeaky,
your?
maybe the squeaky chair every once in a
That wasn't
while.
my chair. That wasn't my chair. I think that might
It
be Roberto's chair, but I'm not sure.
might have been. Someone needs to get him
Um,
some oil can for that.
so what were your thoughts on the interview?
I mean, it's just amazing the night and day candor and forthcoming honesty that we get from him. I you feel like you could really be sitting in a pub with a pint and just
He wouldn't be because he's teetotal
okay. He would have a glass of water then.
or a cappuccino.
Yes, but uh, yeah, it's like he's just come around yours and you're hanging out and you're just friends and you can ask him whatever you want.
But that. I mean, that's basically what it is. I mean, I'll just set the scene for people. I mean, the interviews, the two interviews have took place in Finch Farm. So you go you go in the reception, and I think I said this last time when we were on. And you get taken upstairs. You get taken into the players' canteen, which is very swish. Got some rather large like lazy boy chairs in front of a big TV where I'm sure they all watch TV and play
And play
Xbox and the rest
FIFA,
of
yeah.
it. You get in a circle of chairs, so you're very close proximity to him. It's not like a press conference where he
How
sits
many
at the
how
front.
many people around the circle?
Well, there was representatives today from NSNO, FootyScene.com, SOS 1878, Blue Kipper, and there was two from When Skies Are Grey, the cheeky devils. And you just sit in a very close proximity to Roberto in a little circle. That's the way he likes it. It's his idea. There's the women in the canteen always make a big table, but he wants to sit in very close. He'll have a little bit of a chat with you before you start, and it's not like a chat where it's like quite He's very laid back. It's not robotic or forced. It's very laid back. Before we started, I had a little chat with him about seeing him in the City Tower and um, brown shoes and brown belts, and he's having a little chat with other people. And we were talking about playing at Goodison yesterday, and he was asking me. He actually asked me what I thought of the grass. Compared, and I said it's really good compared, to other years where by now it'd be quite bare, and it was
Sure.
the best they ever played. So he was like, "Oh, that's the new turf," and talking me through it. And
That's awesome.
I know that's what he's like. He honestly just sits down and just talks to you, and just it's not like, and because the way he is, you don't feel like nervous around him either. You feel very open and candid to if I was going to come out, I'd come out to Roberto. It's as simple as that. So he just makes you feel very, very laid back, and just there's a couple of guys in there today who probably who'd never met him, and also there's a couple of guys in there today that I get to meet people doing the things I do, the book launches and things like that, and you see faces, and there's a
Right.
couple of faces in there today that I hadn't seen at other ones, or don't, and that might have been sort of like their big first interview, and they get, and he just takes the edge off it straight away. So
Right.
from that point of view, he's brilliant, and we did what we did last time, where he goes around the circle and asks you who you are, and he'll have a good chat with you. If you find something in common with you, he'll have a good chat with you about it, and he's just a brilliant fella. And then obviously we got into the
Yeah. Question on everyone's mind is, did he remember who you were?
yes, he did, yes. When he came into Radio City, he led on to me straight away. Um, he honestly did.
That's just, but isn't that just wild? But that's
Yeah, yeah.
the sense. That's the
Yeah, I mean, he just, that's one of the things I've been told about him is that, as I said before, he remembers who people are, and that's just an amazing sort of attribute of him. But, questions for just over an hour. And then after the questions, 5 or 10 minutes just chatting and people getting pictures and autographs and
Something about a T-shirt.
yeah, well, if you go on our Twitter feed, you'll see a tweet that we put out on Thursday. You've got to retweet that tweet to win a signed Roberto Martinez T-shirt because you have to retweet that one so we know who's
Because
in the
that's
competition.
yeah. Because
So
we've got a web aggregator that will go
yeah,
in there and randomly select one of the Twitter followers or
mm.
that that retweeted
but
it. So
he's not he doesn't duck any questions and he'll answer questions that maybe
he's not supposed to.
he's not supposed to, but he will answer it. But just some of the things he spoke about. I mean, without going into it too much, he spoke about Lukaku and whether he would be prepared to pay big for him. He spoke about Kone and how he still feels he's going to be very
Massive.
very 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 important. He
Yep.
spoke about wanting to keep Traore as well, which was sort of like the something that big so that came out of it that he does want to keep him and feels like he'll be a big asset. He spoke about
And important too.
yeah. He spoke about Europa and how important he thinks that is and how important competition it is and how he's very much going to treat it as a separate tournament and therefore things will be put in place so that if Everton play away and players aren't going, he'll split the staff or have extra staff so that the players that don't come are preparing for the next game at home and it'll
Right.
almost be like it'll almost be like two sets of players. So that kind of thing. And as I say, he wants to go for. And he was he was throwing things like as well about I asked him about bringing in B teams in England. He was talking about racism in Spain. He talked about a lot of things. He talked the World Cup and how he's going to be working for ESPN and how he's going to go out and see a lot of football and that kind.
How, how he's gonna scout some people and he hopes that they have miserable tournaments so that he can get them on the
Yeah,
cheap.
that may not have been supposed to be part of the interview, but no one's told me to get it out yet. So,
He
yeah.
didn't say, dude.
So there's a lot of
Messi. I mean, if Messi just really
yeah.
stinks it up and we can get
We'll
him
just
cheap.
buy it.
But,
There's
yeah.
a lot of really, really interesting stuff in there again. He never sort of, he never lets anyone down. And it's also the way he speaks about it. He's so passionate about everything and the way he talks about the likes of Barkley and he talks about Naismith in the interview as well and, how much he
How
really
smart he
admires him.
is and
Yeah,
from a footballing brain and how much he thinks he can pile on him even more than he's currently
yeah.
doing. And um,
But,
I was
so,
really impressed with the the fact that the Thursday Sunday scenario of Europa League is is not going to be an excuse for letting league form drop.
mm,
Um, I not that I was worried about that, um, but it's going to require a bigger squad. But we have lots of players out on loan. We've got the ability to bring in more loan players if we need to fill in these squad roles. We'll have some cash this summer to to buy,
mm,
and
yeah.
you you just trust the fact that what he says is true, and he's going to do everything to make it come to light. But
Yeah. I think I think when we had the first interview, a lot of it was about what he'd done so far and looking back and how he changed things. And this one was about looking forward and how he was gonna sort of take the club onto the next thing. I spoke to him about pre-season and
yeah,
what he meant, what he was doing with pre-season and
yeah,
that
I like
kind of
that. He's
thing.
got it's to the point where he's got contingency plans, and
Yeah.
you really fully believe that that is the case. That depending upon what happens in the FA Cup final, one of these three things is going to happen.
And he mentioned America as well, saying he wanted to come back, but he didn't think it was going to be happening this year. But by the way he said it, it does sound like he really enjoys coming to America. So that may be something that, you know, in future seasons that might happen more and more. So that's really positive as well. So he spoke about making Duncan Ferguson a coach. He spoke about the Anfield derby and how bad a night that was, but how that sort of
It galvanized, I think it would
yeah
be
yeah
a
took
word to use.
not yeah a wake up call, learning from mistakes, that kind of thing. So I think there's no point us talking about it too much. Just go and listen to it, and because it's fully justified taking an hour out of your day to listen to it. It's better than listening to me and Eric anyway. And
Yeah. I mean,
if you're gonna
even
listen to,
switch us off right now and go listen to it, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
come back and
we've
listen
already got the
to it.
download number. We're not really bothered.
Right.
Um, we've
And
got the
then
number. It's just
stop,
yeah,
and then listen to it, and then if you want to come back and finish listening to us,
yeah, yeah,
whatever,
yeah. So
whatever. I don't care.
yeah.
Yeah. You think it'll be a regular thing? Do you think that this is something that he'll continue on next season?
I hope
Maybe
so. I think
a
it will
couple
because
a year.
I think he drives it, and I also like the idea of it being like every 3 or 4 months, maybe every 4 months, because I think if you have maybe three of them in the season, because if you had one every month, you wouldn't get I don't think you'd get the same sort of content, or you want that like sort of a little bit of you want that the gaps, you want things to happen so that you can
Right.
talk
You,
about them.
you you
Whereas
need
it
the
just
you
becomes a
need the
press conference.
gaps. Yeah, you need the gaps so that you're not talking about match to match.
Hmm.
Maybe we should
Then
not
it's
do it as very often.
yeah, but it just become like a podcast then and stuff. I think you want the novelty factor there as well, and
Can we get
um,
Roberto to take your spot?
yeah, do it.
The
I'm happy.
Palatonians podcast
I'll
with
just
Eric
put
Howell and Roberto Martinez.
I'll just produce. If you think you don't get many words in now, God help you if Roberto did the podcast. Uh,
You know what? I wouldn't care because it would be amazing.
yeah,
No offense.
yeah. None taken to the man. So yeah, so go and download it, have a listen. Well worth an hour. Don't forget the last one is nearly, it's had 26,000 downloads on SoundCloud on its own, and another near 20,000 on iTunes. So people like listening to Roberto Martinez on the podcast.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like I said, if he was on every week, that would be pretty cool.
I
Anything
agree.
else you want to mention right now? Should we take a
No,
break? All
let's
right.
just finish this show.
All right. Break time. We'll be right back. Okay, you ready? Let's do this. Hold on a second. Delete that part. Okay. Here we go. All right, we're back on Follow-tonians. Now that you've gone and listened to the Roberto Martinez interview and you've found our spot back on your iTunes or your Stitcher, and you're listening to the rest of this episode. Thanks for coming back. Much appreciated. I guess we need to talk about the whole match.
Yeah, thanks to Paddy for doing the stats and that as always.
Yep, always.
I forgot. I forgot.
No, I was gonna let you do it. I'm changing it up, changing it
Oh
up.
yeah,
But
cool.
no, thanks, Patty. Thanks, Patty. Hull, we get to travel over there to play those, and I, before the show, you and I kind of just run down what we're going to talk about, and I mentioned the only thing that we can get out of this match is if we just kick them all over the park, injure all of their players,
Mm.
and they have nobody to play against Arsenal in the FA Cup final. That way, Arsenal wins, and we go straight into the group stages of Europa League.
I find it quite hard to get excited about this game. Um, yeah,
Right.
I think it's yeah. I don't know what to. we just want 3 points, don't we? Just so that
I don't know.
we just want 3 points just to wrap the season up nicely, and we've had not the greatest end to the season as we've just been talking about then. So it'd be nice to finish it nice because you don't want to finish the season with 4 defeats in 5 games. Finish it nice, get that 72 points, and enjoy the summer. Not look back at the end of the season losing, and that's it, isn't it? As you mentioned there, do a little bit of damage to the whole team, and hopefully they'll lose the cup final, so we'll go straight into the group stages. So there's nothing really to worry about there.
Yeah.
Not playing that qualifier in the middle of wherever,
In
and that's
July.
it. Yeah, and that's it, isn't it? It wouldn't be July, by the way; it'd be August.
No.
And that's
It'd
it,
be
isn't it? At
early
the end of the day.
August, though. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's it. I don't, what can you say? It's the last game of the season. Like the last game, we're already basically secured our place unless Spurs win 97-0 or something. So
And we
there's
lose
nothing,
a lot,
there's,
yeah.
there's nothing really to sort of talk about this game. You can't build it up. You can't really overhype it because it is what it is. It's the last game of the season. Just go and get 3 points. Lukaku and Barry and Delafeu possibly playing their last games for the club.
Traore,
Possibly.
possibly.
Traore might be back, possibly.
Pinar.
So Pina possibly back as well. So just go play the final game, enjoy it, get a win, finish 72 points, and yeah, and that'll be it. Everyone will be happy. Hopefully, if other things go to plan, and then we start planning for we can get excited about
For
a
Europe,
good
yeah.
about a good season, a good summer. Hopefully, buying a couple of good players or whatever, and I know that's it, isn't it? It'll have been a great season. So I don't really know how to build this up, Eric. Go listen to go listen to the podcast with Roberto Martinez. Stop listening to us. Who cares?
Okay, so no one
That's all I
cares
can
about
say.
the
I don't know
whole
if you can say any more.
one thing, and you mentioned it previous segment, that FA has come out stating that they want to develop Premier League B teams,
Hmm.
and Roberto talks about it, so
Yeah,
everybody go listen to him. But
yeah.
what
It's
would
just
that
one
do
big
for
holiday.
Everton?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't care. I don't care. What would it do? I don't honestly. I don't know. I honestly. He Roberto is in favour of it because he understands the culture from from Spain, so he understands it. He understands what it would mean to Everton. And probably what it probably would mean is that the players that go on loan to other clubs, the likes of Hallam Hope,
Duffy's
Elios, Duffy, they wouldn't have to go anywhere else, which would basically mean that they would still be getting coached by Everton players, Everton coaches every single day.
maybe like a Joe Royal.
No, no, no. They'd be part of a. You
I'm
think
saying
about it
hire
now.
Joe Royal to be the Everton B coach.
Well, no, you've already got an Everton B coach. His name is Alan Stubbs.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Um, you've already got a B coach. His name's Alan Stubbs. What you're doing is you're getting rid of the 21s,
Okay.
and basically that's all you're doing. And it almost works twofold because you get managers then as well who would become managers of a B team, and then that would be sort of like a good platform for them to learn as well. Pep Guardiola, but obviously very successful as the Barcelona B manager. So what would happen is basically a player like Hallam Hope or a player like, as we mentioned, Velios would train with Everton every single day, and then on a Saturday he'd go and play for Everton B. Everton B would probably play the same style as the Everton team. So therefore, you're getting coached by Everton coaches. You're playing the same Everton way. You go out and play games against teams who are competitive, who want to beat you, because it's not just like a league, a one-off league. This is a league that those clubs can be promoted in, and then that means that the club is still in control of all these players. Where a player like Hallam Hope or a Kennedy or Pennington might go out on loan, play on play a different style under a different manager or getting coached by different coaches, and that's the problem. You can't put the philosophy of the club into these players, and I think that's what
Right.
Roberto Martinez is saying. I don't know if it's necessarily going to work. I'm just saying that's what I think he thinks because he comes from a culture in Spain where that gets used. Now, unfortunately, this country's not like other countries. We have four leagues, then a sort of professional non-league league. Then we
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
then we have two
Un-
non-league teams.
unprofessional.
Semi-professional. And honest to God, we've got like 9 leagues that players in this country like on get paid to play in. It's absolutely mental. This country for such a small country. So it's not like Spain where you'll have your top two leagues and then they break into like um, regional leagues, or Italy's the same. Germany's sort of the same. It doesn't have the same concentration of, in this country you can go town to by town and they will have a semi-professional at least football team that people go and watch them play. The fifth tier of
Yeah.
football
Poodle.
in in this country took 1 million spectators this season. That's incredible. Our second tier, the Championship, I think is like the fourth best league in Europe for spectators. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So from that kind of point of view, will it work? I don't know, but Roberto seems to be very much in favour of it. Understands how it can be used. I don't think it'll be brought in over here simply because too many teams will kick up too much of a fuss because they'll see it being their livelihood being destroyed, which is fair enough. Got no arguments with that. So we'll see what happens.
All right, let's go to some listener questions. Chris Jones says, um, being that the season is essentially over, I'll ask you about next year. Do you uh, see Roberto Martinez moving Baines up from left back to midfield, since we know that Oviedo can play that spot?
I think that what you've seen on Sunday was a little taster of what we can be. Last Saturday is what we might see again next season at times, and I think to play that system the way he wants to play it, Oviedo would be better suited playing on the left because of his pace and his ability to get up and down. And I think what you also seen on Saturday was Leighton Baines coming inside and being on the ball and winning tackles. So I think it could definitely happen. I think what you're effectively doing is having two really good players on the pitch at the same time. You're moving one player from one position to a position I think he could play, and I think that would work. So we'll wait and see, but I think it could definitely happen. And Roberto Martinez has said, the key to football is flexibility, and if we've got Europe, so it's another set of fixtures, a different set of tasks, and in some games maybe we will need that three and need those wing backs, and I'm sure it'll be used. I think now that the players have adapted to sort of the different styles that Roberto Martinez wants them to play, he'll move on to another style, and he'll just keep developing and developing and developing till he's got like 5 different styles, so that he knows at all times how to beat a team by just changing it up, basically.
Yeah, he mentions in the away derby how we were really unable to cope with the counterattack and needing to be able to change up our styles throughout the match to be able to uh, keep the opponents guessing and know what we want to do and impose that on our opponents. So
Yeah, it is just about it's about having different styles to beat different teams, and then if something happens during a game, a team changes, we change to adapt. I mean, this is something we're gonna have to get used to now, and we have been getting used to it during the season. Is teams just coming and parking the bus and having to deal with beating them, and it happened. It happened during the season, especially at home.
Yeah,
And then
West Ham match. Yeah.
and then what happened was, we went to Newcastle, and we sort of changed our style, a different style, and we learned to deal with it. So that'll happen again, hopefully, and we'll use every advantage we've got.
Yeah. Edward Simpson asks, says Andy Hunter has an article saying Bears' future will be decided next week. Roberto says he's not putting him any pressure to sign, but then there's also interest in Rodwell. If we don't get Barry, would you have Rodwell back?
It's a tough question because really I think Rodwell's a good player and I always liked him, but his fitness is ridiculously awful, and if you buy a player unfit, you really have no excuse if it doesn't work out. So if a player's got a history, it's very hard to shake that history off. He's not a kid anymore either. Sometimes when players are really young, they have teething problems. As their body adjusts and they mature, and physically as they get stronger, they'll get obviously like growing pains.
Right.
But you look at Darren Gibson, who didn't make it at Manchester United because of his injuries. Basically, now we bought him because we knew that he had injury problems, and that was part of the
fact that we paid hardly anything for him.
Why we got him so cheap. But I'm sure when we got him, David Moyes knew that he would probably only play 20, 25 games a season, and you'd use him in a way that would be effective. Now, the way I look at it is, if you want to be really positive about it, Roberto Martinez is a trained physiotherapist. He's very, very strict on injuries. He won't let anyone come back till he thinks they are fully fit. So would he buy a player if he didn't think they were fully fit? Now, I know what everyone's saying. I can hear the people already. Traore. Well, he didn't buy Traore, so he took him on loan, and he did take a little bit of a gamble, and he thought that a simple injury was going to take a few weeks to heal, and then he would be available for the rest of the season. It didn't quite work out like that. That's what happens sometimes, but it was a loan, so it was a non-risk. But
right.
If he thinks that he's fit, don't forget he's got to get through a fitness test and a medical and all the rest of it. So,
which you think Roberto will probably administer? Yeah.
I'm not sure about that, but let's just wait and see. Let's wait and see what happens.
Anything else news-wise? End of the year awards.
I was going to say, I think there might be an award ceremony. I think there might be an award ceremony this week.
Yeah, you're Robotnik right now, though. So we'll hit pause.
I thought we were going to get through a whole podcast without me being Robotnik.
Yeah, we didn't go fast enough. We're at that hour mark.
Super duper.
Yeah. Yay.
What?
Nothing. Just laughing at you whistling. Robotnik whistling.
I'm on my way home, sweet home.
Is that whole sweet hole?
I don't know. Is it? I don't know.
I hope not.
It's because I've just been watching Hot Tub Time Machine. It's an excellent film. Really is. You've never seen it though. The idea if you go to anything with the title Hot Tub Time Machine, probably you're sweating like a mess outside, I think.
I can really understand anything you just said right there, so that's just fine.
Good. I've massively insulted you.
Fantastic.
I didn't really. Put on your dancing shoes and dance the blues. Is it fixed? Yeah.
No.
Are we there yet?
Yes. We're not there yet.
Kansas no more, Eric.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah.
Good job no one's listening or watching even.
Huh?
Good job no one's watching.
I don't know what you just said.
Oh,
Dude,
okay.
you ever jump over the watcher?
Swedish chef.
Flurgen.
Flurgen.
That sounds like a random bounty hunter from
Yeah.
Jabba's palace right now.
Is right. That's what I'm talking about. Hanky big crazy person. Hey, tell Hank what you're doing tomorrow because that's quite relevant to him.
Okay. Tomorrow, tomorrow I'm going to work.
No, you're not. Come on,
And
Eric.
then I'm coming home.
Tell him what you're doing. Tell him what film you got. What movie?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
because
thing.
he's in it.
Oh yeah, I'm going to. He said, Cameron. He'll keep calling me. I'm going to go watch. I'm going to go. We're gonna go watch Ferris Bueller on the big screen in a movie theater.
It's right. You keep calling me.
I thought you were catatonic.
You keep calling me. When I was in Cameron's land, let my people go. It's a really, really bad joke that no one else gets, but
I'll
it's
go.
okay.
I'll go.
It's okay because no one's
I'll
listening.
go.
I'll go.
He'll keep calling me. Okay. Rooney! Rooney! Rooney!
Do you have a kiss for daddy? People will be like, what
Should
is
we
this?
just have a podcast where we just talk about... You and I should do like a movie podcast.
I've said this before, like I've had this idea on KCC where I do the footy show. For people who don't know, that there's a kid in there, and she doesn't know anything. Like you mention things like Goonies, and they're just like there's like a blankness on her face,
Just
and I feel like I need to educate the children about like Teen Wolf.
it's like a book club, but a movie club. Like, okay,
Yeah.
people, go watch. Your assignment for this month, this week, is to go watch Spaceballs.
Yeah,
And
I feel like
and then we will talk about it.
I feel like there's a need to educate
It's a hell of
the
an
youth.
idea.
I
All
feel
right.
like it.
Okay, you're on Robotnik. Let's get what we've come here to do done. I'm tired of talking about that.
I think other people are really happy with our choices.
End of the year awards. Ready? Set. Go.
Yeah, end of season awards. It's always a lavish fare, isn't it? Always a lavish fare. St George's Hall this time. I mean, awards wise, Seamus Coleman, Play of the Year. Can I argue with that? I could argue a little bit about that. Maybe James McCarthy.
You can't argue with a player's player. You're not a player. You don't get to choose.
I don't care. Um,
Okay,
Sh-
just
Sh-
saying.
James McCarthy maybe might have deserved Player of the Year. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. Um, yeah, yeah. I think Ross Barkley, young player this season. Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. He's played all season. So, who got goal of the season? Was it Ross Barkley
Barkley.
again?
Yeah,
Barkley. Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
it was the city goal.
To be fair, he could have had a whole sort of the
I
whole.
I I think the city goal was great. I like the Newcastle goal better.
Yeah, I suppose it sort of. I suppose it's
And
two
then
different.
and then it's then there's the Baines free kicks. I mean, it's
Yeah.
two, but to put those both in back to back in one match within just moments of each other is just in the same game like that. It just wow. But yeah,
Mm, mm, yeah, sir.
I don't know. Coleman had
Listen, do you know what? I think
had
what was
had
great about this
goals.
season,
Naismith had yeah.
the great thing about this season was that there was so many candidates. That is the good thing.
Ozzy had a couple that he put his foot through.
Yeah. A lot of candidates for all the awards this season. That's what's good,
Wow.
and that's what you need to get you to the top ends of the table. So, um, I just thought the highlight of the night was when Bill
High
Kenwright was
ticket didn't win
no,
anything.
it was when Bill Kenwright was making a speech about the Blue Blood Award, and honest to God, he got so far into his speech that I forgot that he was actually giving an award out
Right.
because he started talking about the whole squad and mentioned them all individually,
And Maggie
and
Guy
then
and
the award was
Valios.
for Roberto Martinez. It was just ingenious. It was just like people were like, you know, when you just like start a conversation and you get to the end of it and go, what was what was I actually talking about? It felt a bit like that. I think someone probably had to prod them and say, you are giving out an award. Um, but
Anyone?
it was quite
Anyone?
yeah, Bueller.
Bueller?
It was quite funny though. I mean, I'll give him that. The guy loves Everton and puts it out there. He wears his heart on his sleeve. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he even bought Roberto's shoes for £5 grand. So fair play, fair play. Can't argue with that.
That they probably cost $5 at the store.
That's what the fella said. But Roberto said that they didn't. He said they didn't. He wouldn't ever buy shoes that were worth 5,000. That's not him. It's not his style. It's not how he does things.
Did we ever find out where he got them though? No,
No,
didn't
he never
ask.
actually ever said. And he
He was
never sort
going
of.
to.
I just don't think he wanted to ever give like free advertising to anyone, which is fair enough.
Right.
But
Any
Roberto
other
said.
awards? Fan of
Roberto
the
said.
year? Did you win Fan
Pardon?
of the year? Did you win Fan of the year?
No, no,
You didn't?
no. I wouldn't want.
I don't really think there's
I don't
anybody who
deserve to
talks
win it.
about Everton more than you do, though.
I don't deserve to win it clearly, and I'm a bit uncomfortable with the whole thing. I don't quite.
I'm pretty sure you figured out how to tweet about Everton while sleeping.
Yeah,
Because
I
I'm
mean,
pretty
yeah,
sure you
yeah,
never sleep.
yeah. I mean, I would genuinely put myself in the category of
Hyper fan.
no, just general tweeter of the year in without being Everton, just generally. I do generally find anything to tweet about at ridiculous times of the day. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but no, it was all good, good awards. Everyone gets a big pat on the back, and I don't know, not much more we can talk about. We'll have a big wrap-up show next week or something, and we'll do it properly, and we'll talk about the season properly. But
Yeah, and I'll dig up the first show of the year where we made our predictions and laugh at you thinking we're going to finish 8th or ninth.
pessimistic, that's me. This up till now, there's been a reason, but now it's different. Now it's like, yeah, we're gonna win.
Next year's our year.
We're gonna win the fucking lot, man. It's our year, man. Number one. Number one. We got
Gonna
Mac White Gay in the draft.
do that. Suck for luck. Lose to win.
Yeah, baby.
Oh,
Cool.
come on, Andy Carroll.
No.
Oh wait, no.
Edit that bit out if you want, Eric, before the hate mail arrives. Oh, you've just jinxed it, Eric, you absolute idiot. Alright, I think we should go now.
All right,
Go
everybody.
and listen to the other podcast. This one's
Yes,
been rubbish.
it is. It's like the very first show we've ever
It's
done,
clearly just the
but
worst
worse.
show. We've got nothing to talk about, and Eric's clearly hates me, and I'm clearly really tired. So,
Thanks everybody for tuning in. Much appreciated. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for the support. And listen
Bueller,
and go listen to the Follow-Tonians Meet Roberto Martinez Part 2. And
Bueller,
and we'll see you next week. Come on, you Blues, let's go.
Bueller. Oh, you should put like get a clip off YouTube and put it onto the end of the show. It's just like he'll call me, he'll call me, he'll call me. Oh, oh.
Roberto.
Roberto.
Roberto. Roberto.
Roberto. Hey, Roberto.
We'll keep interviewing him. We'll keep interviewing him.
Roberto's like, he'll keep finding me. He'll keep finding me. He'll keep
He'll
finding
keep
me.
stalking me. Rooney! We should do a Bueller like rehash with Everton people because
Just stop
Rooney.
talking. Stop talking, Eric.
All right, should I end the podcast,
Uh,
the live display, the
the the
broadcast?
the 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 other one's up to nearly 3,000.
Yeah.
I think it would take
All right.
It will take about 9 millennium to get this up to 3,000.
Say goodbye to the three people that are still watching.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks.
I know it's a bit of an anticlimax, but you know.
Later.
Later. Later.